Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Wednesday, December 23rd. And we have a very active 7 days coming up that include the chances of severe thunderstorms with possibly an isolated tornado, all the way to perhaps some significant snow if you were to believe one model. We'll take a look at that here. You can see this morning temperature is very warm. We're running morning lows about 12 to 15 degrees above what would be a normal high, with normal highs in the low 30s and lows in the upper teens. We are just running an incredible 10 plus degrees above normal per day for the month of December, which will go down as one of the warmest Decembers ever recorded. And you can see the winds at the low level map. You can see a couple of areas of low pressure, one around the Minnesota, western Minnesota, northwest Minnesota, and another one down around Kansas. And again, this Kansas low, and we can take a look at that on the weather map, is going to be moving to the northeast, and it's going to intensify as it does. And we've got a warm front that developed off to the north yesterday, and that's allowed our southerly winds to keep that mild air in, and a strong warm front that's going to be moving into the state here later today into this evening, and that's going to touch off a chance of a band of showers. And some of these along and near that warm front could even spin up a weak tornado. And again, don't be surprised to see severe thunderstorm warnings at some point this afternoon or tonight in local areas. I'm not sure if we're going to see a widespread watch type issued, but any of the storms that develop later this afternoon into the evening could bring some very strong winds of 55 to 70 mile an hour per winds. And again, a chance of an isolated spin-up tornado, especially early afternoon into the early evening. And then severe thunderstorms with strong winds that could come through anywhere from around 3 o'clock, I think, this afternoon to about 10 p.m. tonight. Again, as that low moves to the northeast, it's going to drag that warm front and a lot of moisture with it. We don't expect a ton of rainfall unless you get under a thunderstorm. I think most areas will see between a quarter to a half inch, but isolated areas could see locally over an inch in around some stronger thunderstorms. If we take a look at the weather map by tonight at 7 p.m., you can see that low now in northwest Wisconsin. And again, we're firmly into the warm sector, and we expect a chance of thunderstorms across all of lower Michigan, even up into the eastern UP. So not very common occurrence that we see thunderstorms in December, but we certainly have a chance today. More widespread strong and severe storms off to the south. And if we look at the high temperatures today, you can see why we do run the risk of severe storms. We're going to have dew points well into the mid-50s with temperatures around 60 or higher from around the Clare, Mount Pleasant area all the way south, with perhaps mid and even possibly upper 60s across southeast lower Michigan. And if we look at the wind fields, you can see with some of the strong winds out ahead and just behind that cold front, we could see winds gusting around southwest lower Michigan to around 50 knots or about 50, 55 miles per hour. And with the friction of the land, I think many areas, though, will have a chance for wind gusts between 35 to as much as 45 miles per hour, maybe around 50 miles per hour across southwest lower Michigan. Thus, we have wind advisories up for much of south and western lower Michigan. And if we look at the next slide, you can even see the Severe Storm Prediction Center now has a slight risk of severe storms all the way from far southern lower Michigan, basically around I-94 onto the south, and even an enhanced area across the Tennessee and Ohio valleys down into the Arklatex. And if we look at the next map, you can see by tomorrow morning, though, that low is raced all the way up to near Hudson Bay, the cold front well off to the east. The tightest isobars will be beginning to lift out of the area, so winds should die down or lessen up quite a bit overnight into early tomorrow morning. We should see, again, those winds lessen up quite a bit. Secondary cold front will be coming through, and that could touch off a few mixed rain and snow showers here before it ends. And if we look at the next system we're going to be watching for early next week, there's a lot of time to watch this, but we're seeing some very interesting solutions coming out of this. We expect a pretty good storm to develop near the Oklahoma and Arkansas area, and it's going to move to the northeast. Now, some of the models have it moving right over Michigan, some to the west, and some over southeast lower Michigan. And where that storm tracks, how much cold air could be funneled down from this high pressure that'll be setting off. We could certainly see a mixed bag of precipitation Monday night into early Wednesday. Right now, the odds would say rain, but some of the models certainly would put down much more than just rain. As far as precipitation over the next 7 to 8 days, this is off the GFS. You can see very heavy rainfall, nearly 5 inches across southeast lower Michigan, but it radically drops off as you head north. So it looks like it'll be a pretty tight area between very heavy precipitation to still significant precipitation around an inch or more over the next 7 days. But that also includes today. But much of this rain here across southeast lower Michigan will be with that storm as we get into Monday night into early Wednesday. There'll also be a weak system coming in over the weekend that could bring a little bit of mixed light rain, light snow, but no big deal. And if we take a look at the next map, this is the GFS for that same time period. Monday night into Wednesday would bring a lot of snow to lower Michigan, and very significant snowstorm would be possible across southeast lower Michigan. But again, right now the GFS is the only model showing anything like this. The European model, however, does show that we'll have temperatures in the upper 20s to the mid 30s across the area at this time, and also has very significant precipitation. So one certainly would want to keep an eye on the trends of the European and the Canadian models here over the next couple of days to see if they trend colder. But right now, I think the best chance it would be rain, but certainly can't discount this, as we will be borderline cold, and the other models do try to print out at least a little bit of frozen precipitation, mainly in the form of freezing rain. But we'll keep an eye on that. And the next map is the Canadian, also shows that storm. So all the models are on board with a pretty good storm coming in here during the early to middle part of next week. And again, something we're certainly going to want to keep an eye on. And as far as the Canadian for snowfall, you can see it does not show any accumulating snows across southern lower Michigan. So that's just the first run that shows some significant snow in here. And we'll keep an eye on all the models. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great warm pre-Christmas Eve day, and thanks for stopping by. It's 73s to all.